Bono is the definition of out of touch, and today he tried to lecture everyday Americans, but Joe Rogan shut him down very quickly, and he is just a dummy. Just listen to what he says and we'll jump into it.
Just recent report. It's not proven, but the surveillance enough suggests 300,000 people have already died from just this cut off, this hard cut of USAID. So there's food rotting in boats, in warehouses. There is this will fuck you off. You will not be happy. No American will. But there is, I think it's 50,000 tons of food that are stored in Djibouti, South Africa, Dubai, and wait for it, Houston, Texas. And that is rotting rather than going to Gaza, rather than going to Sudan.
How does the food get there? You see, part of the reason people like him are so out of touch is he thinks food magically go there. How does food go from Texas to Djibouti? How does food go, you know how expensive, time-consuming, the food's not gonna be good by the time it gets there. So it's just ridiculous because, yeah, there's technically food rotting everywhere. I think food needs to go out to people, but it needs to go to the people of Texas. There are starving people in Texas. Give them that food. Acting like we need to take care. Oh, there are people have died because you guys aren't taking care of us. Well, that's
because
ridiculous.
The people who know the codes or for the warehouse are fired. They're gone.
Shut up.
So
oh my God. Yeah, they can't get in the warehouse because they need this one code. Donald Trump's so bad. Ridiculous, dude. He believes this.
What do you think? What
I can't believe an adult believes this.
That's not America, is it?
Well, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Right. This is the problem.
Whoa.
The problem is,
Joe, shut up. Don't
for sure, there have been a lot of organizations that do tremendous good all throughout the world. Also, for sure, it was a money laundering operation. For sure, there was no oversight. For sure, billions of dollars are missing. In fact, trillions that are unaccounted for, that were sent off into various... They don't even know where because there's no receipts. The way Elon Musk described that, he said if any of this was done by a public company, the company would be delisted and the executives would be in prison. But in the United States, this is standard. When Biden left office, when it was clear that Trump won, in the 73 days, they spent $93 billion from the Department of Energy on just radical loans, just throwing money into places.
Right.
And there's no oversight, no receipts. Like the whole thing is, there's a lot of fraud, a lot of money laundering. But also, we help the world. And when you're talking about making wells for people in the Congo to get fresh water, when you're talking about food and medicine to places that don't have access, no way that should have been cut out. And that should have been clear before they make these radical cuts. There's got to be a way to keep aid and not have fraud. And you can't.
But I also do need to make sure to say this, that we are also not accounting for the fact that there's a lot of these things that were not cut that we're acting like they were. There is still a lot of aid going overseas. The United States also has the most in the way of charities helping overseas, which are technically a lot of the time independent, but even still, my point being that the United States helps so much. We care so much that we literally at a kiosk every time we go to any business, they ask if you want to donate a couple bucks to a something, and a lot of the time it's overseas. So that's my point, is it is a normalized thing to help overseas in the day-to-day in the United States, and people don't want to talk about that because they want to be like, well, we're screwing everyone over. Again, it is our resources. We have so many of our own citizens that are homeless, being treated not nearly as well as literally people who were here illegally, getting free money, free housing. What about the homeless veterans? It makes me so mad when I hear people why aren't we giving our money away? and not even mentioning veterans in the same sense. The people who are the reason we have this free country. But yes, I do want us to help overseas, but to a certain point. And Joe's kind of not acting like that.
Say we're going to kill everything so that there's no fraud.
See.
But then you're killing all the good, and you're doing it without letting anybody know it's going to happen. So no one's. It's not like they had 3 years to prepare. Let's build a new infrastructure. Let's make sure that everything's set up. They wanted change, and they want to change quickly. And due to the nature of American politics, they have about 2 years before the midterms, right? So everything has to get done as quickly as possible. You have to show a growth in GDP. You have to show that the economy's booming again under these ideas. Make America.
I have to actually outright disagree with this again, because also the problem is it's not just for those political reasons. We need to cut a lot of things out because we needed to make drastic cuts, go to zero basically, and then build back up to what 100 will be in the end. We were at like 1,000. So again, to get these things going again, we have to cut everything out, just cut it, stop, and then figure out what we need to invest in.
America first, tariffs for the world, bring back American manufacturing, and this mad rush to do it all as quickly as possible while cutting out as much waste as possible.
Yeah.
But the ironic thing is, even though Elon Musk has proposed all these things and the Doge Committee has proposed all these things, they've made no cuts in terms of the budget. They've cut nothing.
It's
they vote
such
against
a tiny part. I mean,
Because they won't let him.
If it's big government or whatever, people want to shrink. I get the instinct, but the life-saving part, it's like the little finger of the giant.
Right, exactly.
I mean, and I've met all these people, and I'm sure there's part of it. You know, I think about 10% of it goes to things like governance and, you know, human rights organizations. You might say that's political and we shouldn't be involved in that. And there's reforms, I imagine, that might have been necessary. But just have the reform.
And he thinks it's about political, by the way. That's how close-minded a guy like Bono is. Again, this is a multimillionaire, has been since like the 80s, 70s. And the thing is, this guy is clearly just so out of touch. Everyone around him says yes, they parrot whatever his beliefs are, and so this guy can't help but to think we don't need to fund certain organizations that call themselves human rights organizations because it's not a political thing. It's a waste of money because, as Joe said, they are not accounting for tons of things. This is where I meant Joe was right earlier. They're not accounting for things properly. They're just not doing everything up to standard and clearly giving away a lot of money. Again, we were doing a Sesame Street in another country. I forget where exactly it was, but like crazy stuff like that, which is just so unnecessary, to be honest.
But to destroy, to vandalize. I mean, it felt like with glee, these life support systems were being pulled out of the walls.
See, and that is what I mean, absolutely ridiculous, just insulting. Like such a spit in the face for a guy like this. By the way, what is your government doing, Bono, by the way? They're arresting people for memes. So maybe shut up for a second and actually try to help. You're a multimillionaire. What are you doing, by the way? Where's all your millions of dollars going? Are they not going to the people that you're like, well, we need to save the people. It only costs a little bit of money. Well, then you help, you dummy, dude. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting so heated after this one, but you gotta tell me what you think about this. Bono, I think way out of touch. Joe is definitely right about some things, wrong about some others, but thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.